Hello everybody, I am back, continuing with my chronological order of my reviews for the PS2 Dragon Ball Z games. As you can see, this is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. This was released in 2006. The other games released during 2006 was Super Dragon Ball Z, which is a great game. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure, which is also a great game. Yeah, this was just a really great year for Dragon Ball Z games. 2005 really wasn't, which is Sagas and Budokai Tenkaichi 1. Those two were probably the weakest of the Dragon Ball Z games on the PS2. This game is probably like one of the standouts of Dragon Ball Z games. It's almost up there with Budokai 3 or Tenkaichi 3 or the Game Boy Advance games. Simply as the gameplay is one of the best. And character count is amazing. I think it's about 125 characters. The graphics have been turned up. As we all know, Tenkaichi 1 was a very underwhelming start for a Dragon Ball Z game series. As everybody knows that Budokai 3 was one of the best. And then a year later you get crap known as Tenkaichi 1. But then this just took it to another level. You would think that a sequel to a game that wasn't that great would just be even worse, but it's not true. This is one of the best Dragon Ball Z games.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
And as you can see in this main menu, it's very vibrant and moving and colorful and lively. We see Kid Gohan and Goku and Shenron in the background. And in the main menu we have Dragon Adventure, Ultimate Battle Z, which is basically the continuing of the challenge mode that was in Tenkaichi 1 but improved on. Dragon Tournament, World Tournament, Dueling, Ultimate Training, Evolution Z. This has gotten a lot better. This is probably one of the best things about Tenkaichi 2, the customization, which I'll get to later. Item shop, buying items, which is basically carried over from Tenkaichi 1. Data center. Now this is something new. You could create your own custom character or get cheat characters from online. Options, Dragon Library, which is basically carried from Tenkaichi 1. Okay, the first mode, Dragon Adventure. The main story mode, the single player mode. Now this...
7 magic Dragon Balls were forged that when gathered together.
This is probably the second best story mode for a Dragon Ball Z fighting game, as it is a free roam, flying around the world. But the only weakness about this is there's really not much extra to fly in. As we all know, in Budokai 3, it was such a long story mode, and you would fly around the world, and you would never be able to find everything because it was such an in-depth game. This game, however, is quite the opposite. The only extras you would have is basically finding somebody else, such as Broly in any saga, or General Tao, or just going to the item shop. But at least they try with the flying around. The only advantage that this story mode has over Budokai 3 story mode is basically you get to play as more characters and there's more story. Saiyan Saga, Tree of Might, Lord Slug, Final Battle, Frieza Saga, Macula Star, Cooler's Revenge. I think this is the first game that did a decent job on storytelling in terms of the movies. Because in Tenkaichi 1 it was just a fight. In Budokai 3 they just kind of put some random movie characters like Broly, Bardock, or Cooler in there and just threw them in there. They really didn't have much of a story. They were what ifs. Cooler's Revenge, Return of Cooler, the story of Trunks, Android Saga, Super Android 13, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, Ultimate Future Warrior, BoJack Unbound, the Majin Buu Saga, the Broly Second Coming, Fusion Reborn, Wrath of the Dragon, Baby the Avenger, Ultimate Android, evil dragon of absolute destruction, and a few what ifs such as Faithful Brothers, which is Raditz turning good temporarily, and Beautiful Treachery, which is Zarbon teams up with Goku on planet Namek. Destined Rivals, which is what would happen if there was no Majin Buu, if there was no Babidi. It was just Devora, I think. Yeah.
Okay, Gohan. I'm on another adventure. All right.
I think a lot has changed with the gameplay. It's gotten a lot more fast paced. There's link combos. It's more than just a 5-hit combo. It's a lot more than that. As you will see in this gameplay, let's go to it. Okay. And as you can see, it has a lot more characters than the previous game. They have Shenron, Sin Shenron, and Omega Shenron, and all of Baby Vegeta's forms. Pan, Oob, Kid Goku, Master Roshi, Grandpa Gohan, all the different forms of Gohan, Vegeta in various forms. And also, the good thing about this game is the moves aren't generic anymore. I hated in Tenkaichi 1 how every character had a generic move to them. Except for Goku, I think. No, Goku had a lot of generic moves. And Tapion for the first time. Riddigon, Janemba. Well, he was in the previous one, just not his gigantic form. Pikkon, Yajirobe, General Tao. Let's start off a battle for you guys to see. And Gogeta. He was in the previous game. It's just everybody in Tenkaichi 1 seemed like they sucked. And the customizations I will explain during this fight. And they have a lot better environments. The environments in Tenkaichi 1 I kind of liked, especially the city. And in this game, if you also notice, it has its own music. And the minigame is actually interactive.
Sure, you're confused, but it's not quite the same.
The customization in this game is greatly improved. So much so that, as you can see, my characters have so much health, blue health. And the health bars aren't just one big health bar anymore. It's multiple. And as you can see, the new gameplay has gotten a lot better. It's a lot extended combos. You could actually teleport behind your opponents now with a teleport tornado combo similar to the same overdrive fighting system that was in Budokai 3. This might not have been one of my best reviews, but I promise you guys I would do a chronological order. I would rate this game an 8.5 out of 10. The only weakness is probably it's still kind of stiff. The story mode is a little bit too long for my taste. Yeah, rate, comment, subscribe.